Greetings, YouTube. Recently, Tamir Rice was shot and killed by the Cleveland, Ohio Police Department. Tamir Rice was 12. He had an airsoft gun on his person, and someone had called up 911, a concerned citizen, and said that they were in fact not sure if the pistol held by this person, that the firearm held by this person, was real or not. In fact, they suspected it wasn't, but they would like the police to check in on this. And I believe the person brings this up twice. So there's no way that this dispatcher could not have known that the caller felt that the firearm may very well have been a toy, which it was. Airsoft fires rubber BBs. I believe that they're standard BB round size, I'm not positive, but they're bright yellow rubber BBs. They are harmless. And I'm going to link to an article about this, which shows a segment of the video footage, and I'm also going to link to a section which is shows the raw footage for like the entire time I believe that Tamir Rice was on that video, and it shows this kid walking back and forth, acting like a kid. Now, if the police arriving on the scene felt that the firearm was real, the fact that the pistol possessed by this child was real, they behaved in the most unprofessional manner known to man, because they pull up their cruiser to within feet of Tamir Rice. They're like 6 to 7 feet away from him when their vehicle comes to a stop. And their vehicle comes to a stop at 19 seconds into the video, and at 21 seconds into the video, Tamir Rice is already doubled over, headed to the ground. But if that had been a real firearm, and they had actually felt threatened by that real firearm, at least one of those cops would be dead. Because that is an absolutely and utterly unprofessional act to do as far as law enforcement is concerned. You do not pull up next to someone you suspect possesses an actual firearm. And that cop was shooting before he left the car. Also unprofessional. Now, as I mentioned, this is the Cleveland, Ohio Police Department. Ohio, as I've mentioned in a case just recently, where another black person was gunned down by the police within seconds of their arrival on the scene for holding another type of pellet rifle. Ohio is an open carry state, which means the individual at the Walmart who was shot by the police could have been carrying an actual AR-15, and Tamir Rice, from this particular news piece, could have been holding an actual pistol, actual revolver. But he wasn't. He was holding a toy. But in both of these cases, the police showed up and started shooting. Even though, as an open carry state, these black people could have been carrying actual firearms, and it would have been perfectly legal. Now, anyone who watches this, my video, right here, and wants to tell me this isn't about race, go away. Just friggin' leave. I don't want to hear it. In America, a black man is 21 times as likely to be shot by the police as a white man. 21 times! Black people in America are arrested far more often for drug use and receive harsher penalties than do white people, even though white communities and black communities use drugs at the same rates. Which means, because the white people are far more numerous than black people, there are a lot more drugs being consumed by the white community. And yet, there are more arrests in the black community and more harsh sentences in the black community. There was a case recently where a black man, was sentenced to a 35-year sentence for killing a police dog. Now, do I think they should have let him off? Nope. Kill the police dog. But do I think he should have gotten a 35-year sentence for killing a dog? No. No, I don't. Why do you think he did? Think it had anything to do with the melanin level in his skin, maybe? Anyone that says this isn't about race is outing themselves as a racist. Any white person that says this in America, that there is no racism, or that this is not about race, is outing themselves as a racist. You cannot swing a stick in America without hitting our history and our current environment of racism in this nation. Nobody wants to talk about it because it's painful. They don't want to have to address the fact that they have been witness to racist events and have remained silent. Or they have been complicit in racist events. That they have told racist jokes. And as a child, I did too. Why? Because that was the culture I grew up in. That was the warp and weft of my reality. I didn't think anything of it. Because everyone around me was doing it. It took me to learn what I was doing was wrong. And until we face the fact that we are rife with racism in America, there's going to be another Tamir Rice next week. And the week after, and the week after, and the week after. That we are just going to stand back and let our police forces continue to gun down black Americans, men and women and children. Because it's too painful to want to deal with. Well, as Jon Stewart so aptly put, if you're tired of hearing about this, if you're sick to death of this topic arising, if you consider it burdensome upon you, imagine what it's like to live it every day. Every day with the knowledge that your life does not matter to American culture. That American society does not give a crap whether you live or die. That no matter how careful you are, that a cop can just gun you down and never face any consequences. It's just astounding. Well, no, it isn't astounding. It's every friggin' day America. Next week will be another case. And the week after another. When are we going to do something about this? When are we going to demand our politicians slap cameras on every cop on this continent? When are you going to demand our politicians make sure that their police forces represent the ethnic diversity of the communities that they are in? And that those police officers receive the training they need to defuse circumstances, not to make them worse. Do you know how many white cases have been in the last decade of confirmed murderers and mass shooters? And yet, all of the white ones were taken by the police. Most without firing a shot. Jeffrey Dahmer was arrested, 4 friggin' times? And they kept returning him to freedom, returned a victim to him, who he then murdered and consumed. But he looked like such a nice, quiet boy, didn't he? He was such a good neighbor. And he was, of course, white. But if you're black and you walk in a hoodie and carry an iced tea, well, you're a thug. If you're a 12-year-old playing with the pistol, well, obviously, you're a thug. If you're a black guy standing in a Walmart with a pellet rifle in your hand, well, obviously a thug. When are we going to ask our media to give us honest representation of these survivors and these victims? When are we going to ask them to give us the actual truth instead of literally whitewashing these stories for the comfort of their white audiences? Of making them all about the bad, dead person and the blameless police officer. It's sickening. And I'm tired of it. And I'm going to do everything I can possible. I'm going to call people in person when they make those cracks. And I'm going to keep making these videos. And I'm not going to stop until something changes. I just hope it does. Because I don't want there to be another Tamir Rice in a week. Or the week after. Or the week after that. But there's going to be. And the white community is just going to turn a blind eye. Because it's too hard to think about. Because it's too ugly. Because it's too uncomfortable. Too freaking bad.